The history of human progress has always been defined by a single, undeniable truth: that freedom is the ultimate catalyst for genius. Today, as we stand at the precipice of the most significant technological shift since the Industrial Revolution, the world is watching a high-stakes duel between two diametrically opposed visions of the future. On one side, we see the rigid, top-down command of the Chinese Communist Party, an apparatus that believes innovation can be legislated and controlled through state mandates. On the other side stands the American spirit, the restless, unyielding drive of Silicon Valley, where the next world-changing idea isn't born in a government bureau, but in a garage, fueled by the liberty to think the unthinkable and the audacity to fail until success is inevitable. Make no mistake, the race for artificial intelligence is not just about lines of code or petaflops of computing power, it is a battle of systems. And despite the headlines suggesting a closing gap, the reality is that the United States is not just winning, we are defining the very terms of the engagement. This journey began decades ago, when the pioneers of the semiconductor industry chose the fertile soil of California to plant the seeds of the digital age. They didn't have government subsidies to guarantee their success. They had something far more powerful: the right to own their ideas and the competition of a free market that forced them to be the best in the world. This legacy of individual excellence is the bedrock upon which our current AI supremacy is built, and it is a foundation that no authoritarian regime, no matter how much capital they inject, can ever truly replicate. To understand why the Silicon Fortress remains impenetrable, we must look past the software and into the very atoms of the hardware that makes artificial intelligence possible. The world often speaks of chips as a commodity, but in reality, they are the most complex objects ever manufactured by the human race. And in this arena, the United States has orchestrated a strategic blockade that is unprecedented in industrial history. While China's SMIC struggles to master the 7-nanometer process using outdated equipment, American firms and their close allies are already moving toward 2-nanometer production. This isn't just a slight lead. In the world of semiconductors, a 2-generation gap is an eternity. It is the difference between a modern fighter jet and a propeller plane. By leveraging our design prowess and controlling the intellectual property of the most advanced electronic design automation tools, Washington has effectively ensured that the CCP is trying to win a supersonic race with a steam engine. Even as they attempt to subsidize their own domestic chip industry, they lack the multi-generational institutional knowledge that American engineers have cultivated since the days of the integrated circuit. We don't just have the best tools, we have the hands and the minds that know how to build them from scratch. This physical moat is protected by a network of alliances that share our values, ensuring that the supply chain of the future remains anchored in the democratic world. The silicon itself has become a guardian of our interests, a microscopic testament to American engineering dominance. The Chinese model is built on the fallacy that raw data quantity can compensate for a lack of intellectual quality. Beijing claims an advantage because of its vast, surveilled population, providing mountains of data to feed their algorithms. Yet, data is merely the fuel, the engine is the architecture of the mind. In the United States, our advantage lies in an ecosystem that is impossible to replicate under an authoritarian thumb. Silicon Valley thrives on the collision of ideas, the spontaneous, unregulated cooperation between academia, private venture capital, and a culture that rewards risk-taking. While Chinese firms like Baidu and Alibaba must constantly look over their shoulders to ensure their AI models do not offend the sensitivities of the party, American innovators are free to push the boundaries of generative intelligence. This political straitjacket is China's greatest weakness. An AI that is programmed to never dissent is an AI that is fundamentally limited in its ability to reason, create, and innovate. You cannot build a machine that thinks for itself if the people building it are not allowed to do the same. This censorship handicap extends to the very datasets China uses. By filtering their digital reality to fit a political narrative, they are training their models on a distorted version of the world. Meanwhile, American AI is being forged in the fires of open debate, access to the totality of human knowledge, and the freedom to explore even the most controversial frontiers of science. In the United States, the synergy between Sand Hill Road and the engineering labs of Palo Alto creates a feedback loop that no state-subsidized fund can replicate. In 2024 and 2025, American venture capital poured more money into AI startups than the rest of the world combined. This isn't just dumb money from a government mandate. This is smart capital that demands results, pivots quickly, and isn't afraid to let 1,000 flowers bloom so that one might become a giant. Contrast this with the Chinese government guidance funds. When the state is the primary investor, the goal shifts from innovation to compliance. Chinese founders are incentivized to meet bureaucratic quotas and avoid projects that might be deemed too risky. In the race for artificial general intelligence, the American model of creative destruction ensures that only the most robust and revolutionary ideas survive. We don't just outthink our rivals, we outinvest them with a precision that Beijing's centralized planners can only envy. Our capital markets are the most sophisticated engines of growth ever devised, capable of identifying value and scaling breakthroughs at a speed that leaves state-run economies in the dust. This financial superiority is not just about the volume of dollars, but about the wisdom of how those dollars are deployed, by individuals who have a personal stake in the outcome, rather than bureaucrats who are simply checking boxes. Perhaps the most overlooked American asset is our status as the world's ultimate talent magnet. For over a century, the brightest minds from every corner of the globe, including China's own top students, have flocked to Stanford, MIT, and Caltech. They come here because they know that in America your merit is your currency, and your heritage is secondary to your ambition. China suffers from a chronic brain drain, because brilliance cannot breathe in an environment of total state surveillance. When a Chinese scientist makes a breakthrough, they are a servant of the state. When an American scientist makes a breakthrough, they are an architect of a new industry. This constant influx of global genius, filtered through the lens of American values, ensures that our intellectual reservoir remains full while our rivals face a demographic and creative drought. Furthermore, this lead translates directly into the future of national defense. While our adversaries use AI to monitor and control their own citizens, the United States is integrating AI into the Replicator program and Project Maven to ensure our men and women in uniform always have the information advantage. We are building systems that protect life and liberty, while they build systems that enforce silence. The strategic depth of our military-industrial technological complex is a deterrent that keeps the peace, knowing that in any conflict of the 21st century, the American algorithm will be faster, smarter, and more resilient. As we look toward the horizon, the narrative of a Sino-American AI parody is revealed to be more propaganda than fact. The American century is not over, it is simply entering its digital phase. Our lead in artificial intelligence is a testament to the fact that a society built on individual liberty will always outthink, outbuild, and outcompete a society built on collective control. We lead because we allow our people to dream without permission. We lead because our capital markets are the most efficient engines of growth ever devised. And we lead because, in the end, the world knows that the future of AI should be guided by a nation that values the dignity of the individual over the power of the state. The Silicon Fortress is secure not because of walls, but because of the spirit that resides within it. Every chip we design, every model we train, and every startup we fund is a brick in that fortress. A fortress of freedom that stands as a beacon to all who believe that the future belongs to the free. We are not just building machines, we are securing the legacy of the West for the generations that follow. Thank you for joining us at the American Brief. For the sake of our history and the defense of our future, we remain vigilant, we remain innovative, and we remain unrivaled. God bless the United States of America. You think we deserve? Leave us a like and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.